Hi everybody, it is Monday and this is our first day of class this afternoon at 3:05. I want to just do a really short video about logistics and about technology. So let's just get started. And by the way, if you haven't already watched the videos in Module 0, I'm Sandy Price. I am your instructor. This is NLM 220, Nonprofit Organizations. This actually happens to be one of my favorite classes. And so I have a lot of hope that we will figure out how to bridge the pandemic and technology gap, and we will still have a lot of fun in this classroom. I will tell you in class today why I love this class so much. All right, so that's me, that's the class. Let's talk about logistics. So this class is a hybrid class. Everybody will be on Zoom every single Monday, and there will be a couple of other days during the semester where I might ask you to show up on Zoom instead of in the classroom. On Wednesday, everybody who told me that they were attending entirely by Zoom will be on Zoom. But there are a small handful of you who would prefer to be in a classroom, and so we are making that possible. However, we lucked out because there are so few of us and they assigned us to a big auditorium in the Mercado. When they realized how many people really wanted to be in the classroom, they decided to move us closer to the UCent building where everybody is probably most of the time housed. So please on Wednesday, watch for my email. I'm not sure that they will give me that assignment before Wednesday morning, but watch for my email telling you if you are one of the ones who wants to be in the classroom, exactly where our room is that they are changing us to. All right, and for the rest of you who told me that you were going to be entirely on Zoom, know that they are downsizing the room and that won't be able to change as the semester goes on, because once our room is set in stone, it will hold only however many people can safely social distance in that room. Okay, on the other hand, those of you who have said you want to be in the classroom, if you need to, or if you don't feel good, or if you can't make it to class, just join us on Zoom. Okay, thanks. Now that's the logistics. All right, so everybody in Zoom on Mondays, those who want to be in a classroom may be in the classroom on Wednesdays. Watch for my note about what the new room assignment is. Boom, I can mark that off my to-do list. All right, now let's talk about technology. Those of you who have already been through the syllabus, or the Module 0 at least, know that you have an assignment that is due before class today at 2 o'clock. First, let me just say that the technology is Perusall. You've probably read about it. It's a collaborative reading tool. It's actually kind of fun to read together instead of have to sit there and read by yourself, and to have more of a conversation about it. You can imagine that you were sitting around a table, except you're sitting around a computer and chatting about the subject matter. Ideally, this thing is supposed to give you points as you work, and if you don't get all the points that the assignment tells you you can earn, you can go back in and do some more investigating or exploring of the material I've given you. And the more investigating and reporting you do, the higher your point total, and it's supposed to record you as you go. Now, I got a whole lot of questions that I found last evening that had come in yesterday through the day about the Perusall and whether or not it was recording your points. It seems like, because I looked into the grade book after that, it seems like for some people it was transferring points really well, and for other people they were having a hard time. They got a 0 or a 1 and they weren't sure why not. I have actually, first I talked twice now to the ASU IT people asking them to check it out, and what the second person finally told me is that ASU doesn't have a Perusall tech, and I have to go straight to the Perusall company. I'm not sure why this is, because ASU is knowledgeable about the other tools that, or at least most of the other tools that they give us to use. But I did in fact put in whatever kind of ticket I have to put in. I first want to tell you that if there's a problem with this, then don't worry, nobody will be penalized in your points. We'll get that all taken care of. I will never penalize you for a technology problem that is not of your making. All right, so that to be said, I want to suggest that those of you who did not get the points you think you should get for that assignment, to go back in and try to comment more and see if that raises your points. Perusall is supposed to record the points that you get as you get it. And I think one of the reasons to play around with this assignment is just to see what kind of comments get you the most points. This is an automatic grading thing. I also will take a look at it, at your comments and everything. In fact, that's why I asked you to have everything finished by 2 so that I can look between 2 and 3 and see what kind of questions people have or whether or not people are confused so that I can go over those points of confusion in the classroom. But here are a few things that I know, and you may not have read this very closely, but the longer your comments, or I should say the more fleshed out your comments, the more points you get. In a way, I'm really opposed to that, because if you have something to say and you can say it succinctly, that should be enough, right? I mean, on tests, I don't say I'll give you more points if you write more. That's just a pain for me and for you. But Perusall is looking to see that you've engaged. Perusall actually looks at your grammar. So if you are used to, like I am, just voice to text and whatever comes out of there and whatever mistakes and just go with it, because that's what we know about, when people are texting. If you are using voice to text, or if you are just used to typing away and not to correct your grammar, Perusall is actually trying to give you some better grammar stuff. So go back and see if your comments need to be corrected for spelling or grammar, and try that. So I know that's going to make a little of you annoyed. I think it would make me a little annoyed to have to be worried about my grammar all the time. But I will say this about that. School is not social media, and work is not social media. And this is a good habit to get into, because when you get involved in a real job in a real nonprofit organization, you're going to have to be up on stuff like that. And so it's good to be in a habit of it. I think of school as your work. You're not getting paid. You're paying us your tuition. And in that way, you're a consumer. But in another way, this is a contract between student and university to get you prepared to be a really sellable employee with great skills. And one of those skills is good communication tools. And in the business world, that includes some good grammar. Okay, so the other thing you can do is, if you only made a couple comments about part of a page, and I know this first one is like physics and you don't have anything to really say about it, but if you go in and just try to highlight some things that are in different parts, because what Perusall is also looking for is that you read the whole thing. So how will it know you read the whole thing? If you are annotating or making comments on other people's annotations that are throughout the reading, you are going to get more points than if you just annotated in one spot. So I'm suggesting that you take a few minutes to go back in there and just try some things and see if that enhances your points. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to try to find out whether there is or is not a problem with Perusall. I know that the livinghistory.org, some people were having trouble. They clicked through and then the website didn't work appropriately. I left a link in fact, I left it several times on that hallway conversations discussion area. You can just take the link, go do what I asked you to do on the website, and then come back and discuss it. And again, if that doesn't add up enough points for you, then I will take care of that once I figure out what's wrong. So I'm not going to penalize you for a technology problem, but I do want you to play around with Perusall, because it's important early on in this class to figure out what you need to do to get all your points. And remember, there's a reward for figuring this out. Two, actually. One is you're going to have better retention and better interaction with the reading material. And you won't be as tempted to skip the reading as an actual requirement of this class, which it is. And two, those who get 135 points before the exam, which is right at the end of the class, the very last classes are presentations, but I think the day before or 2 days before is the exam. So anybody that's got 135 points, which is 90%, will be able to just avoid the test altogether. So that's something to look forward to. I will adjust that a little bit downward if we have problems with the point system in the first couple of grading periods. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Be able to have your syllabus with you either online while you are listening to me today in class, or if you like to print it off and have your hard copy. This little guy behind me, by the way, this is Simon. He's my teaching assistant. There's another one, Lucy. She had major surgery a couple weeks ago and she's not very happy, so she's off hiding in the closet on her special fireworks hiding pillow that also apparently is a good post-surgery hiding pillow. Anyway, you'll meet her later, and that's it. I'm going to close this off so that you have it in time and hope that YouTube uploads it fast today, not like last week. Alrighty, see you at 3:05.